Hi everyone, it's Emily, and today I invited some of my content creator friends I've made here on YouTube to talk about some of our most surprising games we played on the Nintendo Switch. What is and isn't surprising is very subjective, so I'm hoping with all these different perspectives, you guys will come away with some interesting titles that you may or may not have considered playing. Now, my friends and I have formed a list of 10 unique games that you can play on the Nintendo Switch, along with some other consoles. So let's get right into it.
Hey there, friends. I'm Branden from Just the Gems. Thank you, Emily, for having me on. The Switch game that surprised me far more than any other is Harvestella. Harvestella seemed to be pitched as a fantasy farming sim. And my friends, it is so much more than that. Harvestella is, at its core, a classic JRPG. It's got everything that you expect in a JRPG. An engaging combat system, a party full of lovable and interesting characters, an amnesiac protagonist. They busted out that old chestnut one more time. Aren't you glad? Harvestella seemed to hide behind its farming simulator elements, and that caused me, and probably a lot of others, to write it off from the very beginning. The story is amazing, the graphics are beautiful, the music I can't even express to you. It is one of my favorite JRPG soundtracks, period. If you're on the fence because you're not crazy about farming simulators, the farming elements, maybe 10% of the game. The rest of it is just classic JRPG. You will not regret it. Thanks again, Emily.
Hi everyone, it's Alie from Alie in Wonderland, and my most surprising Nintendo Switch game for Emily's video is Dragon Quest Builders 2. This cute mashup of a sandbox block building JRPG game has a little of everything for lovers of all those elements. The game has a wholesome story mixed in with a typical JRPG, has a battle co-op system with a helpful NPC protagonist at your side. You can cook, craft, build, and have NPC characters assist in building blueprints for you as long as you provide the building material. Finally, this sandbox game allows you to explore the entire map and find new material to unlock new craftable items. Aside from spending around 80 hours on the main story, thinking that I'd probably drop it because of it being a voxel game, I spent an additional 50 hours building my village and cities for my NPC characters that I found along the way. So if you thought this game wasn't for you, I challenge you to try it out for yourself. You might definitely be surprised how much you will fall in love.
Hey guys, it's Steph. My pick for the most surprising game on the Nintendo Switch is Signalis. Signalis is an indie survival horror game that puts you in the shoes of the main character, Elster, who has crash landed and she's searching this underground facility for someone. One of the most surprising things about Signalis is the fact that it feels like a love letter to survival horror games that were released during the PlayStation era. So we're talking like the mid to late 90s, and it just evokes pure nostalgia for me. The game is dark and mysterious. You don't know what's waiting for you around the corner, and it almost gives you this sense of fear, or at least for me it did. Just like in classic Resident Evil games, I found myself running past enemies in order to conserve my ammo. And there's also the fact that, these environmental puzzles are kind of tough. Every time I played Signalis, it made me think back to when I was 16 years old, playing Resident Evil with my brother in his room, in the dark, staying up as late as we possibly can. Such an awesome time. And one of the last reasons I believe Signalis is one of the most surprising games on the Nintendo Switch is the fact that it only took 2 people to develop this game. 2 people developed this game, and considering how amazing it looks and how spooky it is, that's crazy.
Hey Emily, thank you for having me on in your video. Now in terms of my most surprising Switch game, that would have to go to KeyWe. This is a game I just picked up alone just by looking at the cover art. It looks absolutely adorable, right? Little did I know what I was in store for. I was honestly not expecting an adorably fun puzzle co-op game about 2 little kiwi birds named Deborah and Jeff who have to run a post office. Now you can use their fuzzy little butts and their long beaks to send out messages, pack and label boxes, participate in minigames, and more. I mean, look at them. They're all over the place. It's a good game. And while you can't play solo, playing co-op is how the developers intended the game to be played. Communication and cooperation are the keys to succeed in this game because the challenge can ramp up pretty fast. So grab a partner, pass them a Joy-Con, and have fun in this incredibly, adorably, yet challenging puzzle co-op game with these 2 little chubby burbs.
Thanks, Emily. I'm going to talk about Cupid Parasite. It's on the shelf behind me, and this particular game surprised me because it's quite different to what we'd gotten on consoles in terms of otome games up to that point, and I didn't expect I'd like it as much. Now, typically with otome game localizations up until the last couple of years, we tend to only get the more serious plot-heavy stuff like Codex Malice, but Cupid Parasite is very much the precise opposite of that. You literally play as Cupid, who goes undercover in the human world in a literal lovemaking corporation, and this really charming Los York atmosphere with all these vibrant colours, and just a general very funny, light-hearted tone where you can't always take the game 100% seriously, and that's before mentioning the great characters, and I just love it so much, and I definitely recommend this game if you're looking for something different, especially for visual novels.
Hi guys, it's Mandy from MandyleePlays. Thank you, Emily, for having me on. Without further ado, let's get into the game that surprised me. Now, I ended up picking Pokemon Arceus. There's a long history of me in the Pokemon series. I'm not going to say it all here, it's not my video. But the TLDR of it all is basically, I feel like Pokemon games have been in a decline. I'm a huge fan, I loved all the older games, and I was feeling like Pokemon might not be for me anymore. But then I saw the trailer for Pokemon Arceus. I love that the game is different from the traditional style, the whole emphasis on completing a Pokédex and having certain tasks to it was very, very cool, and it added a lot to the chill, cozy gameplay of just looking at Pokemon like they're animals, not like, they're just Pokemon. It got me back into Pokemon, and I enjoyed it after many years of not having a good Pokemon game in my opinion, and also it took the series in a new direction. So that's why I picked Pokemon Arceus, because by all accounts, it was meant to be like another bad Pokemon game. But it really surprised me, and I felt like there was passion poured into it. So I hope we get more Pokemon Arceus style games in the future. Again, thank you, Emily, for having me on. You guys better hit that like button on this video, and you can catch me on my channel at MandyleePlays. Peace, peace.
Hey everyone, my name is Taylor and I run a channel called The Gaming Shelf, and today for the surprising game on Nintendo Switch that I want to talk about is Chained Echoes. Now what surprised me about this game was it just sort of came out of nowhere. Now I was keeping close tabs on the JRPGs that were coming out in 2022, but I did not expect Chained Echoes to be this good. And to me there's a few areas where it really stands out. For one, it has an absolutely gorgeous pixel art style. Everything from the colors, animation, and details just really stands out. But I think more than anything else, it's the overall design that really surprised me. The combat system has this mechanic called overdrive, where you have to do certain abilities to stay within this little green meter. If you stay within it, you do more damage and take less damage, but if you overheat, you won't be able to do as much damage and you'll take more damage. So it really kept turn-based combat interesting and kind of innovated in a combat system that's not really been innovative in a long time. And one last thing that really surprised me, this was pretty much made by one guy. It would be amazing to have a big team make a game of this quality, but for one person to make this game, absolutely mind-blowing.
Hey folks, this is Jay from Cold Nights, and I chose a rather unique visual novel for Emily's most surprising Switch video. Milky Way Prince, the Vampire Star is a visual novel that follows Nuki, a lonely dreamer with his eyes fixed on the cosmos, and soon, a man he is sure fell from the stars. The story explores their torrid romance, with many choices and branching paths. A unique system lets you choose how to experience their encounters through the senses. Surprisingly, the game focuses on the darker aspects of love, such as codependency, obsession, and anger. It's a genuine and often painful look at doomed love, mental illness, and abuse in a relationship presented in a beautiful, abstract, art house noir fashion. The game is potent and may give you introspection into how your own behaviors can be destructive to those around you. It's a short but meaningful experience and can be had for under $10 in the Nintendo eShop.
Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper, and thank you to Emily for having me on her channel today to talk about a Switch game that completely surprised me. So, the game that I have picked for the list is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Huge surprise, actually, because a few reasons. I am a Final Fantasy VII fan, but, I'm, not a hardcore fan. But I just I don't know anything about Zack Fair and the stuff that happened before, so I kind of just went in kind of blah. And then I played it and I was just, wow, this is an amazing story, great characters, super heartwarming, you're crying at the end of it, not what I expected. I was just really blown away. It's also combat, and I'm more of a turn-based person, so, you know, I don't know. I just kind of thought it was going to be kind of like military, you're in soldier. I don't know what I thought, but it was not this. This was so, I don't know, just a really nice surprise. I am so happy with it. It's so much fun. It's very fan servicey, so if you like Final Fantasy VII, then you are going to love this. And I highly recommend it to everybody because it's great if you're a Final Fantasy fan, it's great if you're a JRPG fan, and it was just a really solid time.
Thanks everyone, and to round off this list, my most surprising Nintendo Switch game is Yurukill, the Culmination games. So this is a visual novel shmup game, and when I first heard that there were shoot 'em up mechanics, I was a bit hesitant because that's not usually a genre I am familiar with. The closest I've ever been is in the mainline Kingdom Hearts games, where they would use spaceships to travel between different worlds. So definitely not a traditional shoot 'em up in the least, but I did end up enjoying how they integrated the shoot 'em up aspects alongside the very complicated visual novel story, where these prisoners have to convince their executioners that they did not commit the crimes they were accused of. So there are a lot of great escape room-esque puzzles and really interesting characters and Japanese voice acting that really made this a unique and enjoyable game. So if you're looking for a different hybrid experience that incorporates shoot 'em up mechanics alongside some good visual novel storytelling, Yurukill is one to definitely check out. All right, so that concludes our list of 10 games that we found surprising on the Nintendo Switch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll leave in the description links to everyone's respective channels, so definitely check them out if you haven't already. They're all great individuals that I love interacting with here on YouTube, and they all make great content that really showcases their passion for gaming. Now, having heard our list, let me know which game you guys found most surprising to play on the Switch. And I really enjoyed making this collaboration video, so expect more in the future. And until my next video, bye guys.